This is Matt Connerton here on IPMNation.com with a very special interview segment for y'all. This is very exciting. I'm sitting here with Mr. Rich Curtis from Synthetic Killing Unit. How are you, Rich?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Well, it's great to have you here because our IPMNation.com listeners are already familiar with your work, whether they realize it or not, because you, of course, provide the theme music for our hit show, Stephen James Blake's Countdown to Reality, which you can hear on IPMNation.com. In fact, your music both opens and closes the show, which is very cool.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. That's actually very, very cool, and I'm very thankful that the people there decided to have it.
Yes, the people demanded it. Well, listen, I want to talk to you about the concept of Synthetic Killing Unit, because I know that kind of played into why your music was requested to be used for the theme music of the show, because the show, as you know, is kind of political and current events oriented, and Steve, who hosts it, gets into conspiracy theories and all that. And I've heard a little something about killing robots and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's basically the direction we're trying to take this thing in now. We've developed a pretty intellectual type, clever theatrical stage show around the music, which we're planning on putting together sometime in the next year, I'd say. And yeah, I'd say that does have a lot to do with actually killing robots.
Well, now, what do you mean? Is that what your music is about? Is about killing robots, or?
Well, when we originally came up with the whole concept for what Synthetic Killing Unit would be, we were trying to find a way to convey the vision that we had, which was kind of like a World War III, post-apocalyptic, almost like a Crusaders of the fallen world type thing, where we would kind of provide services, not that type of service, but we would kind of provide a service to the human people, killing robots that try to kill them, and that's where the whole kind of thing came up.
So the robots being synthetic beings, is that where the name comes from? Synthetic Killing Unit, killing synthetic beings?
That's exactly it.
Robots, and would that include cyborgs and other types of...
Well, from what I've heard, there's a whole bunch of different ones. Mm-hmm. Some that look like you and me, and some that don't.
Oh, I'm kind of creeped out. I'm a little concerned.
And that's what we do.
Oh, we
kill those things so you don't have to be creeped out. You'd have to see it to kind of get the understanding of what it is.
Sure. Now your music, what I've heard of it reminds me of, it's got kind of a Nine Inch Nails kind of vibe, but a little more, well, how would you describe it? I mean, do you describe it as industrial, or is it more dancey, or how do you describe your music?
Well, it's definitely has a very thick industrial influence into it, since robotics are industrial beings, and industrial music usually has robotic sounds in it. So it definitely is in that industrial category. But what we wanted to do is kind of make it a little bit strayed from what you'd consider, typical modern industrial music to be, as far as the way it's been fit into the genre. Recently, a lot of bands have, used metallic sounds and, sounds of, I don't know, maybe jackhammers and crazy things like that to convey industrial. And what we were trying to do is more of paint a picture of what you would see on stage, as far as, eye candy goes, like live robotics and maybe things that might try to attack the band on stage and things like that. And we tried to make that visible through the audio more than we were trying to fit into a type of music genre. So I think it wasn't we didn't do that on purpose. It was kind of a coincidental thing that it landed in the industrial genre. But
so you're not necessarily trying to be an industrial band. This is how it kind of comes out. That's sort of where it fits. But what's cool about that is you can kind of fit into different radio formats, I would think, with that type of music. Like something like Nine Inch Nails, you'll hear on on mainstream rock stations. You'll hear on more metal oriented stations. Is that do you think that gives you an advantage as you market your music? Because I know you're on some different radio stations and on a lot of internet radio. And
yeah, we definitely kind of found a niche for the pop market as far as that goes. And as far as I know, I don't think we're being played at any, local goth nights or anything like that.
Sure.
I think we might have just missed that part of it, or maybe they haven't been turned on to the whole thing yet. But I definitely like having a finger or two in the theatrical aspect of it and kind of pulling the show away from what type of genre night show a club will have, and kind of putting it into, that you're going to go to see this, and it's probably going to take up your whole night, but it should be extremely entertaining, and you shouldn't have to worry about drunk guys hitting on your girlfriend and things like that. So I really liked when I went to see Blue Man Group. I'm sure everyone knows who they are.
Of course, yeah.
And I saw them a couple of years ago in Boston, and I was pretty much blown away, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool how everyone was to sit as if they were paying to pay attention to the show. And so since they were sitting, they had to basically wait to be entertained. It didn't have to go forward or do something or make a presence in any way. They could sit back and relax. And I kind of like that feeling about the show. And I didn't think that the show would convey as much of an inspiring type personality if everyone was all shuffled up into a sweaty pile at the front of the stage. So it also allowed us to be a lot more interactive with the crowd in certain ways, which you'll probably see when you go to see the show.
So you use that word interactive a lot. So with your live show, what do you mean by that? How is it going to be interactive with the audience?
Well, without giving away anything about the show in particular, we have a lot of things in the show that are designed to captivate the audience's attention. And I really liked when I would go to shows and I would see, people there getting really involved in the show, whether it be reading the marquee or the text on the screen, or maybe the crowd had to shout out something in return to the band or the actors. I thought that was really cool. And it didn't really give you a chance to fall asleep or a chance to just kind of go off and stare at the drummer for the entire show. So I thought that was a big deal, and that's what we're trying to do with this. Is we have obviously quite a few actors involved in the project, and we're going to have maybe some people in the audience that you thought were in the audience, but actually maybe actors as well. So we have a lot of little surprises like that. And I have a couple things planned for post-production where we're trying to get this format going for the live show where the crowd can decide which way the show will go.
Really?
And we may have 2 or 3 different endings for the show depending on what the crowd seems to react to.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's original, actually. I've never thought of that. I've never seen anyone do anything like that. You mentioned Blue Man Group and how they influence you visually as far as what the show is going to be like. Who else has inspired you? Is there anyone else who does kind of a theatrical thing or does something on stage that really inspires you as far as the live show?
Yeah, absolutely. Believe it or not, as funny as it might be, I think that Guar, I'm sure you've all heard of them. I thought that they were brilliant in the way they brought things to the stage, as vulgar and disgusting as they can be, which is hilarious. But I thought that the way that they brought the visual aspect to the stage really made a big difference. So they were very influential to me, and obviously you could probably hear in the music that 9 Inch Nails was a big influence on my music childhood. And I kind of like the rawness of that and the intelligence and emotion behind that type of part of it. Mm-hmm. And when we started to get together Skew, we would start throwing together a bunch of different titles of movies that would come to mind that kind of had a part of the feeling that Skew would kind of wrap up into this one ball of different things. And a few things came to mind, like the movie RoboCop,
yeah,
and the whole the whole thing with the cyberpunks and how they would interact with different characters and how they were rude in different ways. And also Ed 209, who you may know is a gigantic robot, that a killing war machine that was also in, I believe it was RoboCop 2.
I didn't see RoboCop 2.
Yeah, that was a big influence. The Terminator movies were big. Parts of the design aspects of the game Mech Warrior were heavily influential. So a lot of those things that kind of we thought were futuristic and cool and were cohesive with the attitude that we were looking for, we kind of definitely pulled inspiration from that in creating this and trying to wrap it up all into one thing. So,
what about Gallagher? Because he does that fruit smashing thing with the watermelons.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely amazing. I watched Gallagher my entire life. And yeah, I mean, I kind of liked when you went to see a Gallagher show, if you were in the first 8 rows, you're basically promised to get annihilated with different fruits and liquids. And
similar to guar, really, except with guar, you're going to be annihilated with fake blood and urine.
That's right. And with this, you may see there, without giving away too much, maybe different colored neon fluids and maybe some battery acids and things like that, kind of a futuristic nature, but somewhat similar along the same, somewhat along the same lines, somewhat similar there.
Right. Excellent. Well, getting away from the show for a minute, just getting back to the music. Who are your influences other than Nine Inch Nails? Is there some KMFDM in there? Maybe some My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, or who else do you listen to that really inspires you?
Oh, that's great. I do love KMFDM a lot. They're a fabulous, very talented, smart band.
Yeah.
Who I had the pleasure of meeting.
Oh, you did?
At in Florida when I was there on vacation, and at the Hard Rock Hotel they played, and they were amazing. Love all their stuff. Hope to get to work with them someday. I like a lot of a strapping young lad who's more of a metal type bass thing, but the thought that's put into that amount of music, and it definitely made a difference on my life. I like a lot of God Lives Underwater. I'm sure you guys know. My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult's great for their sort of 50s, 60s retro type attitude toward the whole thing. I mean, if all that stuff kind of had a big influence on how I decided to write my music and how I like to hear what I wrote back.
What about Ministry and some of the heavier industrial stuff? Well, not that all Ministry is heavy, but some of it's pretty aggressive. What about that? Is it more the keyboard influence stuff that you like, or do you get into the heavier industrial stuff?
I definitely do. I'm a huge Fear Factory fan.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
And I own every Ministry CD.
Do you?
There probably is.
Nice.
Regardless of how bad some of the mixes were. But I mean, those guys in those band were kind of like the fathers and grandfathers of what the whole industrial scene was and is. And I don't think, even if I didn't like them, that I could take away credit from how much they've put into that. And And I'm really glad to still be around in somewhat the same time frame as that band was. Although I wish I was born maybe 10 years earlier to hit it full on. But yeah. I mean, I definitely am a huge Ministry fan. Yeah. And I probably always will be.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, tell us, where can we hear Synthetic Killing Unit aside from IPMNation.com? Obviously, we have quite a few tracks of Synthetic Killing Unit on the online, but where else can we hear you? I know Rage Rock Radio. I know Hammer's been a big supporter of you guys, and AdrenalineRocks.com is currently spinning you, and there's Guitar Center Guitar Center Radio?
Yeah, absolutely. Synthetic Killing Unit was signed on to be played in all the Guitar Center retail stores around the world.
Oh, that's huge.
Which I believe is about 215, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a lot of exposure there.
It is, and
that's great.
I've actually been in there myself and heard it play. From what I know, it plays about once a day, and I'm really excited to have that opportunity to hear my song played where a bunch of great musicians shop. So I'm really excited to have that opportunity, and I'm sure it'll pay off.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a particular track that they're playing, or?
Yeah, when I talked to Jeremy, who's one of the guys that works for the Guitar Center radio type part of Guitar Center, he definitely expressed to me that the people wanted to hear the song called "I Don't Care," which will be on the CD that we're releasing, our debut CD. They really liked the song "I Don't Care." It was the first song that we wrote. It's an older song. It's probably almost 4 years old now.
Yeah,
and
it's
but
really catchy.
That's what I think that's what a lot of people like about it, is that it sticks in your head a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why I decided to go with it. And
good radio single.
Exactly, and I was pleased with it. I was okay with it, so that's what we went with. And I'm glad. It's a great choice. It definitely fits good in the vibe of the store. So.
Well, you mentioned the CD. When's that coming out?
Well, right now we're doing all the artwork and
okay.
final post-production, which we're doing through a company called Crit Designs, who's owned by a nice lady named Crystal Mullen out of Massachusetts, and she's collaborating with me to get this artwork finished. And as long as it's cohesive to the entire project and it's clever and makes sense, we'll continue with it. So that's pretty much the last puzzle piece, so to say, to completing the puzzle, and that should be done very soon. So I'd say we'd see this debut CD coming by the end of the year.
Oh, great. And you had shown me some of the artwork before we started the interview, and it looks incredible. I mean, it's really cool stuff. So just visually alone, I mean, I would, it's the kind of thing where I would look at that and be like, I got to listen to this. This looks like it's some cool stuff.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it looks like you've got it covered as far as marketing, how to market that.
I was really, really pleased with the way the artwork started to come out, and the way I think, Crit and myself worked really well together on that, and I thought it was cool how she worked, and before this whole thing, before we started really collaborating, I had gathered together a bunch of just random pictures off of the internet and different places, and kind of corralled them all into one folder on my computer, and it was just random pictures of things that I found inspirational visually.
Mm-hmm.
And when she saw that, she was pretty pleased, and she used that type of vibe to create what she did. And I think that's why it kind of fits the theme so well, is because we definitely all had the same idea where it should go. And I was extremely pleased with the results of what she did, and I'm really glad to have her on the team with us.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be self-released? Do you have your own label?
Yeah, we don't have our own label right now, but our debut CD is going to be an independent release.
Okay.
We've been
that's how the industry's going anyway.
Yeah, I've been waiting to get this out for, no joke, probably like 6 years.
No kidding.
And it hasn't happened, and I think now that I can actually be comfortable with the way things are going with it, that it can get released and still, hold water. It'll still hold the story and make sense to people now. And it was worth the wait. And so I'm really more excited than I can express to release this disc.
And now you've got all this buzz around it. I know at IPMNation.com we've get tons of emails requesting more synthetic killing units since we put you guys on. So I can vouch for all the buzz you're getting. Absolutely. Now you can download some of the tracks now, right, from iTunes?
Well,
is that correct,
yeah, we have a track up at iTunes right now, which is actually a remix that I did with Clay Scott of the band Cell Dweller, who's gained a bunch of attention recently for his song, which is in a couple of movie trailers, one for the new Iron Man movie, which you might have seen, and one for the new Speed Racer movie. Mm-hmm. And we did a remix, actually 3 remixes total, one that's available on iTunes right now of his song titled Frozen, and it's called the Solid Mix is what we did, and it sounds great. You should definitely check it out. You can go to the link right on the MySpace site, and you can download it for 99 cents. It's definitely quite different than his original mix, but I think it has a little bit darker feel to it.
Yeah,
which kind of tends to lean toward the Synthetic Killing Unit side of things. So.
Yeah. Now you said on the MySpace, is it is it your MySpace, Synthetic Killing Unit? MySpace,
yeah, it's myspace.com/synthetic killing unit. Just like it sounds, one word.
Cool. And you have a separate site too, right? synthetickillingunit.com.
Yeah, we have synthetickillingunit.com, which is the main site, and there's some information on there if you'd like to either contact the band or maybe get a deeper look into what the whole robot killing's about.
And is there anyone else that you've remixed? You did the Cell Dweller remix. Anybody else that?
Actually, yeah.
I love remixes personally. I think it's cool as hell to, when you hear a song and then you hear an alternate version of the song, which usually ends up being cooler than the original anyway. If the person who remixes it is really, yeah.
I really like the remixes because they kind of take a different light on the way the artist meant to put it. So I've definitely been busy with remixes. I did a remix of a Nine Inch Nails song off of the album before last that they did, Year Zero, the song Capital G. Mm-hmm. And I did a remix called Version, Capital G Version, from that. And I just recently did a remix for a band called The Motion Sick, who's a very talented band out of Massachusetts with a bunch of outstandingly nice members. And I did a remix of their song, 30 Lives, and it's called the Up, Up, Down, Down Dance Mix, I believe it's called, and which had quite a bit of airplay. Anyhow, we did that remix, and it has been selected to be in the new Dance Dance Revolution video game.
Really?
Yeah, which is a pretty big hit as far as I know, although I've never actually played it myself, but it definitely looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, that remix you can actually hear on that video game. I assume that'll be released next year.
No kidding.
And that was done with myself and a very big-time multi-platinum award-winning producer that I work with almost on a daily basis by the name of Anthony Resta.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and he's very
familiar with him.
Yeah, he's out of North Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and he owns a studio called Bopnik Musique down there, where I do a lot of recording with him. And he kind of put that together and put a lot of his touch on that tune, and he definitely makes things, pretty much anything, sound over the top. So we definitely owe it to him for that amazing mix. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing it on that video game.
Very cool. Now, you're a busy man because not only do you have Synthetic Killing Unit and these remixes, but I hear you have a little band called Broken Hell.
Yeah. I kind of have this itching for some metal.
Yeah.
Every now and then. I definitely have a big love of metal. As I said, I like Strapping Young Lad and Fear Factory, and I kind of wanted to definitely sharpen my drumming skills. I love to drum. It's was my primary instrument. Although in Synthetic Killing Unit, I'm doing guitars and vocals and keys. But,
right.
But with Broken Hell, I mean, I really get to express myself as a drummer, and we play with this guy Evil Mike, who you might know.
Yeah.
And is just an amazing person, and a great guitar player, and a great vocalist. And I'm really glad to release some anger with these guys.
Yeah. Well, as you may know, Broken Hell actually was the number one song with King of the World the first week that we did the IPM Nation weekly top 5.
Wow.
Yeah, every week we count down the top 5 songs on IPMNation.com on our flagship show, IPM Nation, and King of the World was number 1 in the first week. And actually, you guys have had quite a few tunes on our weekly top 5. So,
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I went to the website, which I actually originally went to the website to hear some of the funny clips that were on there, and I'm sure the listeners will probably know what I'm talking about if they've been there. but they do some extremely ridiculous, wacky, off the wall impersonations of people, and I really enjoy it. And I went there to listen to some new ones, particularly the Tyrone Biggins one.
That's Evil Mike, yeah, it's Tyrone Biggins.
and hats off to him on that. But I was pleasantly surprised to hear a couple of songs from the album on there, and I got to give a big thanks out to IPM for that. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Well, our listeners really love you guys. Incidentally, that's also Evil Mike who does the intro to IPM Nation, the show, hosted by myself and Matt Marcil. That's him as the British guy.
Oh, I see.
The theme music, yeah.
What a crazy guy.
I know. And evil. Evil Mike.
He is very evil.
He is very evil. And actually, you can hear him on RageRockRadio.com, the Evil Hour.
Yes. Yeah, we're all fans of the Rage Rock.
Hammer is incredible, and he's been a huge help to us here at IPMNation.com, that's for sure. So, let me ask you about Audio Bomb Productions, because I understand that that's where you record Synthetic Killing Unit and the Broken Hell stuff. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. We call it Audio Bomb Productions, as kind of like an alias for our personal studio. And we have that located in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is a great place to record. And we have this thing up there. It's a very small facility that we use just for us to record Broken Hell albums and Synthetic Killing Unit albums, which all the stuff you've heard on either of those debut CDs is recorded there. And we've done a bunch of stuff. We've done some commercials, which are usually come out more funny than anything. So commercials and things for the radio and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of like to have our hands on this stuff, and rather than leave our sound into someone else's hands, we found it a lot better for the whole, look of whatever we're doing, to be able to record everything completely on our own and have it be under our terms. So just another way to be self-sufficient, which is a good thing this day with the way the music retail market's going.
Yeah. What do you, let me ask you to elaborate on that quickly before we wrap up, because I have some thoughts of my own, and sometimes people roll my eyes when I talk about where I think the industry is going. But I suspect that you're of a like mind on this. Where do you see it going? Do you think it's all going to be online? Do you think it's all going to be downloads eventually?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. No one really knows exactly what's going to happen. Some people have an idea. I think it's definitely going to migrate more to online sales. I think people are going to have to definitely, musicians in particular, are going to have to give the fans a reason to buy the disc if they want to continue to sell CDs, which is going to force people to do more visual art, and maybe along the lines of what Synthetic Killing Unit's trying to do with a theatrical show. Otherwise, they may just drown in the sea of plastic.
Yeah.
Unless they want to convert over to a totally digital type album sales structure, which isn't always easy with torrents and the ability to download things against the artist's will. So it's definitely a tricky thing. And as everyone's probably heard, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, Radiohead, and bands like that are definitely pioneering the way CD or record sales are going to be done in the future. And so, yeah, we're trying to feel out our own way for that format, and try to make it work. So, yeah, who knows? Yeah.
It's an interesting time in the music industry, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Rich Curtis, thank you for being here with us today on IPMNation.com. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to sit down with you. Like I said, people, the citizens of the IPM Nation, as I like to say, they've been listening to your tracks here on the site, on our station, and I hope that we can get you to come be a guest on Stephen James Blake's Countdown to Reality, and you can talk about killing robots and all that stuff. And
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, and I would definitely love to do that with you guys.
I know Steve is dying to talk to you, so we'll have to have you on soon. All right, Rich Curtis from Synthetic Killing Unit and Broken Hell. Thanks again. Hey, you know what? Why don't we wrap up the interview with one of your tunes?
All right, that's great. Thanks a lot.
What would you like to play as we leave?
This one's called Planetary Overload.
Here it is, Synthetic Killing Unit.